Grootjes out Haarlem. I'm just taking a little walk today, and something that occurs to me that I've noticed for many years now living here in this country is just how neat and clean it is. Everywhere I go, virtually no litter. I look around on the streets, I don't see a stray wrapper or a tin can, maybe the occasional cigarette butt, but even those are a rarity. This got me to thinking, how is it that these cities manage to stay so spick and span, so squeaky clean? And I did a little bit of research along those lines, and I discovered, for example, that in 2016, free plastic bags were prohibited in the Netherlands. And I do remember that turning point. Prior to 2016, you could go to a grocery store and they would hand out plastic bags freely. And well, now you have to pay for them. Additional legislation was passed in 2021, which prohibited the use of single-use plastics such as cutlery and plates, and even those little plastic sticks that hold balloons. You may remember them. I gather that they're no longer allowed to be sold. There was additional legislation in 2024 that was passed, and that requires that the little plastic caps that you find on top of various bottles have to be attached. So that, of course, also prevents litter. Furthermore, there are fines if you are caught littering, and those fines are fairly hefty, 90 euros if you are seen throwing a wrapper or a can on the street. That fine is reduced if you happen to be between the ages of 12 and 16, in which case the fine is only 45 euros. So all of these efforts combined mean that you rarely find litter on the streets. As I walk along here with you now, I, again, really don't find very much of anything on the streets. I don't find any wrappers, I don't find cigarette butts, I don't find stray cans. It's as clean as can be. And that is very much in contrast to cities in the US, I can say. The last time, for example, that I was in Philadelphia, I was astounded by just how much litter there was on the streets. And that's in sharp contrast to the cities here in the Netherlands. Haarlem, for example, again, I find really one of the cleanest places I've ever been to. And it's interesting because if you think about the Netherlands compared to the state of Maryland, where I was born and where I grew up, in terms of population density, the state of Maryland has 6 million inhabitants. And again, it's the same size as the entire country of the Netherlands. And the Netherlands has 18 million inhabitants. So that's 6 million inhabitants compared to 18 million in the same space. And it's that much more remarkable then, to me, that in a country that is so densely populated, that you find so very little litter and trash, and just the overall cleanliness of this country. So it's probably just yet another reason why the Dutch rank so highly on happiness indexes. As you well know, in the 2024 World Happiness Index, the Netherlands ranked at number 6 in the world. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and I've discussed them in other videos, but certainly one of them, I would say, is the overall cleanliness of the country. Not only the exceptionally clean drinking water, which is really among the best in Europe, and certainly among the best in the world, but also just the cleanliness of the streets and the sidewalks. Everything is left, right, and so clean and neat there's no litter. There's just no litter. And that even includes, say, the mess that's left behind by, our furry dog companions. There is a tax on dogs in the form of a dog license, and the money that is raised from that tax goes towards the little trash cans that you find in parks and various areas, and the plastic bags for picking up the remains of the dogs leave behind and putting them in a safe, contained place. So that tends to keep the streets clean as well. I do see some chewing gum remains as I walk along this very public sidewalk, but there are even devices. I've seen specialized machines in the city which come along periodically and sort of steam clean the sidewalk to get rid of the chewing gum remains. Extraordinary. I realize that maybe my perspective is a bit skewed because here I am walking around the inner city slums of Haarlem, and so it may not be a fair comparison. But no, in all reality, I can tell you that I've walked extensively throughout the city of Haarlem, and even in neighborhoods which are maybe a little bit more humble than the one that I'm in right now. There's no more litter there than I find here. It's pristine wherever I go, in Haarlem and even in Amsterdam when I've been there. And that's another thing. In Haarlem, even after, say, a major fest, party like Koningsdag, King's Day, and my gosh, there's lots of litter generated at such an event. Or the Bevrijdingspop, which is a liberation concert that takes place here in Haarlem. And again, those events really do generate a lot of litter. But I'm telling you, in the wee hours, the industrious Dutch get out there and they are cleaning the streets and picking up the scraps. And when I walk around the next day, even the next morning, it's as clean as a whistle. So what can I say? It's a paradise. This is my roundabout way of saying how much I love living here. Did I tell you that already? I really love the Netherlands and I love my life here. And there are so many reasons why. I've named several of them in other videos, but what I'm talking about here today, the fact that it's just so tidy and clean and neat, yeah, it's a pleasure to come out for a walk in a place that is just so well organized. I really can't sing the praises enough. So I hope that you have enjoyed this short walk and talk today. And I want to say how much I appreciate you joining me today and in my other videos. If you've joined me for those, I really appreciate that. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. So in the meantime, tot ziens.